Hello there, this is Andy of Kent Survival. Thanks for clicking through to my newest video. So today I'm using a new camera and mic setup, and you may have noticed the change in sound. I forgot to turn the mic on for this review, so sorry about that in advance. So today I'm looking at a Czech Republic IMRE. This is menu number 2, which is beef and chicken. I'd like to thank my girlfriend's next door neighbour Martina for bringing this back from the Czech Republic for me. It's much appreciated. So a little background information on the Czech IMRE. The assembly of individual rations corresponds to the military requirements on the consumption and nutritional parameters to safeguard individuals during 8 hours of active duty. So let's have a look in this and see if it lives up to what it's supposed to. So this IMRE is actually pretty new and in date still. The packaging, as you can see, is made of a pretty thick, sturdy plastic, not too dissimilar to a US MRE, although it's a bit tough to actually open up by hand. So I use my trusty Leatherman. So as I pull out the contents here, you'll see that it's all pretty neatly wrapped in a polystyrene style tray. This will be quite good for stopping the contents from being squashed, either on patrol or being shipped. So with the wrapper off, let's have a look at what we have here. First up we have not one but 2 packs of crisp breads. I believe them to be 2 different flavours. We've got a moist towelette or a wet wipe, whatever you want to call it. This is a beverage powder, doesn't say the flavour on it, and a pack of coffee. This felt like gum, but it turned out to be 2 glucose tablets. We have a nice looking bar of dark chocolate. I do like how all the wrappers are nice and foiled together like this. We have a small packet of salt, just put that to one side. And some sugar. I've got 2 packs of that, which come in handy for the coffee, me not being a coffee drinker. The flimsy plastic spoon feels to be pretty much the same as the Lithuanian one. This is the 2 pieces of gum. Our chicken main, which is in a foil tin here. And finally a packet of beef jerky. So I'm just going to use this small gel heater today because I only need some water for the coffee. The rest of the contents doesn't need heating. You can have it hot or cold. I'm just going to have it cold today. Right, so first up we're going to try the beverage based powder. As you can see, it's got a light yellowy colour to it. Doesn't say anywhere how much water to actually use with this. I'm just having a guesstimate based on the previous ones. Give this a good shake up. And put that aside. Next up, let's open up the chocolate bar. So as you can see, as this opens up, there's no blooming on it at all or anything. It is a fairly new ration pack, so it has been kept well. Next up, let's break into the first crisp bread. As you can see, this one's a darker one. And if we get into the second one here, you can see this is a lighter coloured crisp bread. Next up is our beef jerky. Let's rip into that, stick it in the corner here. Get rid of the desiccant packet. And you'll notice here immediately it's a very thin jerky. This packet is the glucose tablets, which I mistook for the gum. Speaking of the gum, let's get that out too. Can see why you get these 2 confused in the packet. Underneath the chicken here we've got our moist towelette or wet wipe. This is a non-alcoholic based wipe, so it's good for me just to have a good clean before eating this ration, seeing as I've been hiking today. And let's get to the chicken main, which has a bit of a stain on top, but the packaging is still sealed. As we get into that, you can see it's like a pate luncheon meat style dish. You can see the fat on there as well, so this would be good hot or cold. Okay, so before we get into it, I just want to open up this packet of salt just to check it was salt. I'm not going to use it on any of these things. Bring in our hot water for our coffee. This is just instant granules, as you can see. So let's get that in the water. And both of our sugar packets, seeing as I'm not really a coffee drinker. This will make it a bit more palatable for me and give that a good mix. Okay, so first up I'll try the Beverage base powder. Turns out it was a lemon flavour, very weak. Don't know if I mixed it with too much water, but yeah, it was a very subtle flavour. Looking at our beef jerky here, you can see how thin it is as the camera comes in focus. It turns out to be very chewy indeed, very chewy. Once you've chewed it for a while, it does soften up and it does taste nice, but quite thin and chewy, so very dry indeed. You can see I did go back for seconds. Right, so let's give our coffee a final stir and try that out. Turns out I didn't actually mind this coffee. I think with all these ration packs I'm trying, I am getting more used to it. This one was quite nice. It didn't really have any bitterness. The sugar helped, of course. But yeah, I'll go on and finish that off. Okay, so here we go. We're going to try out our chicken main and our crisp breads. So as you can see, this is quite dense, and you can see that jelly fat on the top there. Just give this crisp bread a go first on its own, and it's nice. It's just very bland, so it's going to take on the flavour of whatever you put on it. I think this pack should have had like a jam or honey in there as well, because there's quite a lot of that crisp bread. But for now, let's put some of the chicken main on there. Have a quick look at that and give that a go. So this chicken was actually quite nice, didn't mind it. It's quite salty but not too salty, definitely had flavour, and yeah, there's enough there to fill you up for a lunch or something. Don't know about 8 hours. I suppose if you eat before you go out on patrol and when you come back it'll probably be okay just to keep you going. But yeah, it's definitely nice. I probably should have tried some hot as well, but this was the easier thing for this walk I was on. I can't tell too much difference between the two different crisp breads, but as you can see, I'm washing it down with a bit more of that coffee, which I really don't mind. So I went in for a bit more of this chicken before I moved on. And next up I've moved on to the dark chocolate. So it's quite warm out, so it's already softening up, so I need to get to this. And yeah, it was very nice indeed. Like the coffee, it didn't have any bitterness to it, even though it was a dark chocolate. I really did enjoy this, and it did go well with the coffee. So I think I'm becoming a bit of a convert the more of this I have. I wasn't really a dark chocolate or coffee person before, but these ration packs have an awful lot of it. Next up we'll try the glucose tablet. So these were like a soft chalky vitamin type sweet, so they kind of dissolve in your mouth. You could probably have it in some water as well, but I didn't try that. But yeah, it's quite a fruity flavour, disappears on your tongue quite fast, give you a nice little boost of sugar. And while we're here, we'll try out this gum. Looks like spearmint, but it tasted more like a peppermint gum to me. I'm not so keen on the spearmint, but yeah, pretty standard gum, nothing to write home about. If you're a gum person and you enjoy this, give you a sweet kick while you're out on patrol, I guess, with this ration pack. So, as you can see here, I've polished off pretty much everything from this pack. Just the right amount of food for the walk I was on, halfway round on this hike, and yeah, it filled me up nicely without making me feel too sort of heavy and sluggish. There is crisp bread left over. I do think it could do with the jam or the honey. That would definitely just be a nice ending to this, aside from the gum. But yeah, pretty nice, a nice little pack, not too over the top or anything. They do have their 24-hour BPMs or whatever they're called as well, so that would be the more substantial ration from the Czech Republic. But as you can see, this has been the Czech Republic IMRE Menu number 2, which is beef and chicken. Thanks very much for joining me and watching through. I'm sorry about the audio on this video. Still getting used to this new camera setup, so hopefully I won't make that mistake again. If you've enjoyed the video, please check out some of my others. I've got ration reviews, camping videos and other such outdoor activities, so check that out. Thanks very much, and stay safe. I'll see you again soon.